Hello everyone, peace and blessings to all. In this video we will calculate Zodiac skill meteor rotations. 3 rotations will have the DPS calculated. The first, number 1 rotation, is recasting meteor every 40 seconds. This is the one I use. It's usually the optimal DPS. Second, we'll look at the new tech that I did in a previous video. The number 2 rotation is meteor canceling, casting meteor every 20 seconds and using the frame perfect cancellation. The third rotation would be like the bad rotation, and we're just doing it to show why it's bad. So that would be casting meteor every 60 seconds and just rebuffing it once it wears off. Of the 3 rotations, we will be considering each with various DUL values at 200k, 300k, and 600k player DUL values to see how the rotations perform with damage upper limit at various stages of player growth to get accurate numbers for different gear. In order to calculate the DPS, we'll determine the length of time in the rotation from meteor to meteor and the damage of the attacks used in between. Then we'll compare the different rotations and see which is the best and see by how much. Now, starting the video here, you'll see an example of the number 1 rotation. On the left, you see meteor cast, and when meteors finish casting, we'll have 14.8 seconds to cast at plus 900k DUL, and then we'll cast 4 skills, and then now meteor will flip over, and we'll have plus 600k, and we'll get 4 more skills, doing in total 7,600,000 damage in 40 seconds, doing a DPS of 190,000. Next, we're going to look at the number 2 rotation, the meteor canceling, which starts up the same, just like the number 1 rotation, but we're going to be recasting meteor every 20 seconds, trying to do the frame perfect cancel. This first rotation, number 1, recasting every 40 seconds, had 190,000, but the meteor canceling rotation has 220,000, an increase of 14%. So if you can meteor cancel, it is optimal. Going to give you over 10% more damage, depending on your damage upper limit. At the start of this example is the failing to get the meteor cancel. There we use the meteor too late. And in this case, you'll only get 3 attacks instead of 4. But if you properly meteor cancel, you'll get 4 attacks in this 20-second phase. So here we do the meteor cancel. And you see how I tap it there right at 0.25 seconds left. And this final example is number 3 rotation, just casting meteor, letting it run out for 60 seconds and then rebuffing it. Very simple, less damage upper limit for more casting up time, but this is actually the worst rotation. And I'm just putting it here to show that you don't want to be using this once you're strong enough, that this is actually going to be less. So once you're strong enough to hit the high damage upper limit of stacked meteors, you want to be doing that, and eventually learning how to meteor cancel to try to do the optimal rotations. So while that example is playing on the left side, I'm going to bring up the DPS chart so you can see the results. Here in the results, you see clearly that meteor canceling is superior, but since it's so difficult, I'd encourage people to use the number 1 rotation, recasting meteor every 40 seconds, letting the first phase go for 20 seconds and letting the second phase go for 20 seconds before restacking it. This is faster than letting it run out its full duration and much easier than meteor canceling. And as you see in the first box there, the DPS is only 165,000 if the cancel fails, which is less than the 190 from doing every 40 seconds. So if you haven't perfected meteor canceling, which is difficult to do, to say the least, and difficult to get the good RNG for, then you're going to want to stick to recasting Meteor every 40 seconds. Now, this test doesn't take into account magic attack stats or certain bosses like Fafnir, so keep that in mind. And I also want to point out that it's not a scientific test. There's some inaccuracies here, and I wasn't trying to get a perfectly accurate test, just a ballpark idea of how good the rotations compare to each other. And another thing, a trend I want to point out is as your damage upper limit rises from getting more star gear, that meteor canceling will become less efficient. Next video, I'll go over rotations for Meteor with Stargazer and have a couple of rotations there to show. Thanks for watching, guys.